Welcome to this lecture about building your introduction and discussion. In activity 2.2, you have filled in the question tool for your introduction as an assignment after watching lecture number 3. Now in this lecture, I will explain how the questions in the tool are related to moves or steps that create flow in your storyline. I will also address some frequently asked questions to guide you through the process of working with questions and moves. We will start out with the introduction. In this table, the 3 moves of the introduction are listed in the left column. These logical steps together represent the standard storyline of a research paper. Now, this template is common in all disciplines, although the actual workout in the text may differ. In the right column, you will recognize the questions of the tool. Filling in the question tool, some of you may have noticed that the second, third, and fourth question can be a bit overlapping. For example, maybe for your topic, describing the problem also implies the relevance. Or maybe the problem turns out to be the actual gap of knowledge. But in combination, these 3 questions represent the second important move of the introduction, the reason why the research was undertaken, the actual gap of knowledge you aim to fill. The 3 moves are coined by John Swales, a linguist who analyzed thousands of papers in search for the underlying templates. On his website, you can find many examples of how to make the moves in actual sentences, very helpful for scientific authors. Let's go to the question tool for the discussion. This one is a bit more complex. Here, you first need to decide which moves are relevant in your paper. After that, you need to identify the specific questions you need to answer to indeed make the moves. It is like working with bullet points, but the extras you do here is labeling the point and the purpose of the paragraph. Specifically, the phrasing of questions and purpose will make the nature of your bullet point list much more specific and focused. Now, in this table, you see an overview of the moves in a discussion, and I have filled in several general questions as starting points. Now, the question tool for the discussion, which is attached as a Word file to this activity, so you can work with it for your own paper, has more smaller blocks than the list of moves in this slide. And also slightly different arrangements are to be found in the background materials of this course. I've added some papers and also a PDF with an overview. Now, the fact that these arrangements may be different underlines the need to design your own targeted outline. Analyzing the discussion format of similar articles may be a good idea in this respect. Just copy the perfect designs of others, papers in your own field that kind of target the same kind of research question. So pick up those designs, analyze the discussions, and fill them with your own content. This is not plagiarism, not at all. You can just use the standard phrases all researchers use. So, let's now go to the frequently asked questions. I have 3 of them. First, the first frequently asked question is, will every block of the question tool also be a separate paragraph in my text? Now, the answer is no. The question tool is part of your search for content. You are searching for the what you need to say to make the important moves. So, the layout of the tool does not always perfectly reflect the layout of the eventual text. Let's look at this example. In a minute, I will ask you to pause the video and study this slide. It is a skeleton of an introduction, and I have omitted the bodies of the paragraph. You can only see the first and the last sentences. I've left them there. Now, can you recognize the three moves? And can you follow the line of thought of this introduction? Pause the video now and look closely for a few minutes. Now, as you will have noticed, the first paragraph introduces the topic, the first move, but it also points at the relevance. And in the final sentence, it states the general gap. The second paragraph gives an overview of what we already know as a background for the gap of knowledge, because the third paragraph describes the more specific gap and immediately connected to that, the research question that is related to the gap. Now, as you can see, making more moves per paragraph may work out well, but one of the moves is often more on the foreground, more dominant. Also, it is very important to note that the first and the last sentences apparently carry the signals about the moves and the steps that the paragraph makes, because you can pick up the storyline of this introduction without close reading the entire text. We will revisit this paper later on in the course, making other assignments. Question 2. Can I answer more questions in one paragraph, or should I always answer just one question? Well, it's a kind of a basic rule that one paragraph should cover one main question. But within this answer to the main paragraph question, smaller sub-questions may be necessary. For example, a paragraph with the main question, what was an important limitation of this research, may also address the sub-question, what was the cause of this limitation? Or what are consequences for the results? These sub-questions should be closely related though, as you can imagine, and together they should address one overall question, the main paragraph question. Last question. What literature should I describe in the part what we already know, the already know part of the introduction, and what should I address in the discussion? Now, in both sections, the choice of current knowledge or related literature depends totally on the move you are making at that point. So, in the introduction, you describe the state of the art because you want to make clear that there are missing links, or gaps, or some research was inadequate, or maybe there's a controversy. Maybe you want to stress that much has been achieved, summarize shortly, but there's still work to do, because you want to point at your gap. In other words, your report of what we already know supports the relevance of your research plan. While in the discussion, related literature is described to confront the results of the study. Are they in line? Are they unexpected? What do the results mean in relation to the earlier findings? So, the purpose of the description of the literature is quite different and depends on the specific move you need to make at that point. Okay, well, if this all went a bit too fast, or you want to revisit the content, you can read the transcript of this lecture in the resources to this activity.